Good morning, everyone. It's Mary Mills, and today I'm going to be reviewing and discussing the final ICH GCP E6R2 changes impacting clinical investigators, sites, IND holders, which refers to you as sponsors, investigators, if there are any on there, on the call, and institutions. So welcome, everyone. Let me tell you just a little bit about myself. Some of you may actually know me. I've been around a while. I've got about 35 years experience in healthcare, and about 30 of those are in clinical research. And I started out in research as a study coordinator, primarily doing pulmonary and cardiovascular research in Memphis at the University of Tennessee, and I then became a CRA. I do some auditing. I do a good bit of teaching and training. One of the things that I like to talk about is this very, very big trial that we employed the risk-based quality management approach with, and it was about 17,000 patients in 1,200 sites with 50 countries, and it was before all of these guidances and E6 was final, probably about 10 years ago now. So anyway, I'm certified and I've done several other things. So that's enough really about me. Today, we are going to be going through some learning objectives. We'll talk about what I hope and pray to teach you today. And I'm going to, in just a few minutes, ask you about what your role is. We will be discussing the definitions and the principles of the addendum. And then these are the sections from the addendum that we will be going through, the things that are new within the addendum, the investigator responsibilities, the IND holders' responsibilities, some things about essential documents. We'll talk about implementation a little bit, and then we will re-review the objectives. So just to go through the objectives very quickly, upon the completion of this course, you should be able to identify the changes impacting investigator responsibilities and roles. You should be able to explain the impact of the revision on sites and on sponsor investigators. Evaluate solutions for applicability, modification of your SOPs, your processes, your procedures, and your staff training, and apply lessons learned for the effective implementation of this guidance. So before we go much further, if you would just write over in the chat box what your role is, if you work in clinical operations, compliance, quality, safety, so that I can kind of get a feel for the type of representation we have in today's webcast. Okay, wonderful. Well, we have a little bit of it all here. So thank you very, very much. It looks like we have clinical operations, we have compliance, we have data management. I think we even have some safety. Let's see, transitional sciences. We have just a little bit of everything. Doesn't seem like to me we have anyone from an investigative site. If there's anyone from an investigative site, would you just please hold up your hand in the attendee box or type in the chat to me? That would be really good. Okay, doesn't look like we do. So let's first talk a little bit about the drivers for the addendum change. Back 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, the addendum was being worked on, and all of the regulatory agencies that came together basically said, you know, we haven't changed this thing in 20 years. And they started looking at what had happened over the last 20 years, and they all talked about concerns over quality from the regulatory authorities. They basically said, we don't always trust the ICH GCP statement in the submission of the audit.